Hey viewers, Spang here bringing you a little bit of a disclaimer. Both of these replays I'm about to bring you in this back-to-back are quite old, and honestly, since I just wanted to get them out there, they're both very good games, kind of demonstrating how, well, in the first one, as you can see, it is a T18, it's kind of demonstrating how in the lower tier matches, if you're a good enough player, you really don't need a team, and the second one is demonstrating how even if you are in a tank that isn't quite top tier, bottom tier even, you can still perform. But like I said, these were not originally intended to be a back-to-back, and I just wanted to get them out of the way, so please bear with the inconsistencies, I suppose. Now, if I recall correctly, both of these are 8.4, and I'd probably even say that in the video. I may or may not. However, that is not quite the point. I just wanted to let you know that these are older commentaries and kind of explain some possible inconsistencies. Anyway, enjoy them both, and I hope you will like and subscribe at the end of the video, as I'm sure to say again. Hello again, my viewers and subscribers. Spang here, bringing you a single World of Tanks gameplay commentary, kind of what used to be the standard until I started doing so many back-to-backs. But, as you can tell, I'm kind of going back to the single, as I only really like to do back-to-backs when I have similar gameplays. Now, this is going to be a tier 2 match on a map many of you may have not seen in a while, Province, and if you're wondering why that is, and you aren't quite informed, well, let me bring you up to speed. Province, a while back, was moved to be only in lower tier games, so unless you are playing the lower tier vehicles such as the T18, you will not be on this map. Now, this was back from my Ghost days, my Panzer Ghost days, and those were a while back, but still, that no hard feelings on that at all. I kind of just change clans as necessary. Now, being shot by a teammate, I don't even know what's up with that. Low tier matches, what can you do? But I'm not too concerned about it. I'm a T18. I know I can take a fair share of punishment here. And this BT2 kind of just driving right up, thinking, I don't know what, perhaps he wanted to die, I guess is the only thing going through his mind. He certainly did not live to regret that decision. And the enemy team already down by one vehicle right off the bat. However, in a lower tier match, kills, you can be down by a significant amount, and all it takes is one good player and a bunch of bad players, which, let's face it, bad players are really common in low tier matches. It's the newbies, and if you're a high tier player, if you're a good player such as myself, it's a little unfair. I kind of do these as relaxation. I don't do it to stat pad if that's what you're thinking. I kind of just like to have a little bit of fun every now and again and not have to rely on my team so much and just be it more of a factor of my skill. Especially, it helps to have an overpowered tank such as the T18, or in tier 3 matches what I use is the T127. But that is neither here nor there. This match, this T2 Light, thinking it's a great idea to just blitz down this field. I try and lob a shot, but he stops at the very last second. The T18 certainly has a long shell travel time. Its velocity is not so great, but that certainly won't stop me from getting kills. And right here, like I was saying, the lower tier matches can change very quickly. As you can tell, we just fell behind by four vehicles, and here I'm going to try to shoot this T18. I'm sorry, this T2. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. This M2, kind of just chilling right there, not sure what he wants to do. Our M2 clearly having a death wish, not understanding the concept of driving out in the open, not such a great idea, and quickly learning that it is a quick way to die. At least we hope he learns. You know, the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, and let's hope he is not insane by that definition. So, our team falling even further behind, 6 vehicles now, and the enemy team probably feeling pretty comfortable about their lead. Hopefully that causes them to pull forward a bit as they try to push their advantage, which would be a great thing for me as I would proceed to kill them all. It's not arrogance, it's just a statement of fact. I'm in a great position, good overwatch, and there we go, closing the gap by 2. Now the enemy team only 4 tanks ahead, and like I said, tank differences in lower tier battles, not such a big thing as they are in, say, a tier 8 match or a tier 6 match. Or tier 10 matches, tank differences matter a great deal, but you know, in lower tier battles, it's something that can be easily made up. So I'm never really too concerned about a match in my T18 Honestly, I find them very relaxing because they are not stressful by any means, due to like the factors I said before. And right here, we're gonna see if I can get this Cruiser 3, but my shot going wide, you know, my T18 crew not quite at 100% yet, so that kind of factoring into that. And here we go, trying to lead the target and doing so beautifully. That Cruiser 3 quickly meeting his demise, and I'm going to see if I can't do the same with this medium 2, but the shell falling short. How very unfortunate. Now there is a light tank pushing, and another vehicle pushing far on that corner. Well, not really pushing, but having Overwatch, taking a shot at where that medium 2 was, just demonstrating the importance of shooting where enemy vehicles were if you don't believe they have moved. You don't need to have people spotting for you all the time. You just have to be good at estimated firing. It's an inexact science, but it is a useful skill to have. Now our team's still behind, only 3 tanks now, the gap closing ever so quickly, and the enemy team kind of maybe not feeling their advantage as much as they were. Definitely probably a little more concerned now that NC31 probably going to get himself killed. He's trying to take on a tier 2, and now, let's be honest, the difference between tier 2 and tier 1 isn't all that great. A tier 1 vehicle can kill a tier 2, no problem, very little difference at all. But it's still, there is a slight advantage to the tier 2 vehicle, as there should be. So that BT2, if he doesn't kill him, okay, there we go. T18 on my team also killing him. Another reason I'm not too concerned is the fact we still have 2 T18s, one of them being me. The enemy team has one, yes, and honestly, I do believe the T18 to be the best tier 2 vehicle in most respects. And that's because when I gauge a vehicle, most of the time it's based on firepower. Honestly, mobility has some factor into it, but firepower is what I value above all else, and that comes down to penetration, damage, and rate of fire. Because mobility is great and all, but if you can't really hit hard enough to kill something before it kills you, then it more than likely will not give you enough of an advantage to win in a straight up one-on-one fight. So it's you might place value on something a little differently, but you know, that's your call. And I'm just surprised I've been able to stick it out in this position as long as I have. You know, it's a very good cover to have bushes obscuring my tank destroyer, as well as that rock to my side protecting me, keeping my softer armor safe. And that's one thing that you really have to do as a tank destroyer, and kind of as a tank in general, is know how to protect your flanks. And if you don't have a team to do that, you just have to use the terrain to do that. Now this Panzer 1 kind of just sitting out in the open, making himself a very easy target. I see his ally behind him trying to get a shot off on him, but he is hopefully still not moving as I try and take those estimated shots I was talking about to eliminate him. I've got 3 kills at this point, nothing too extravagant, but you will see things kind of get a little hairy here later. I've basically said I've taken enough shots. I only have 15 HE shells left. Granted, I have 10 heat rounds, which at this low of a tier, how much pen do those have? I want to say it's something like, yes, 100 penetration. More than enough to get through a tier 2 or tier 1 vehicle without any difficulty whatsoever. Now, here we go. Have the Panzerjäger, or whatever it's called, just kind of driving right in front of me. That was very nice of him. I'm very happy about that. Getting shot by those British tanks. They have a good amount of penetration for the low tier that they are in. That is probably one of their most significant strengths. This German vehicle, I'm just hoping that he's going to drive right back into my line of sight again as this enemy team tries to shoot me. And yes, he is doing just that, thinking it's a good idea to drive up the hill after something that just shot him. My gun depression not proving to be all that great, having me to pull forward a little bit and get lit up. And as you can tell, the enemy team just unleashing a hellfire, a volley of just shells after shells. And there's another one right there. The enemy team still up by 3 vehicles, and I am at 4 kills at this point. 7 minutes remaining on the countdown timer. Hopefully my team able to do something at this point. Man, that enemy team certainly not giving up, still believing I am right there. You'd think they'll kind of get the message after a certain point. I'm just sitting back enjoying the fireworks show as my team plays very defensively, as they should be. Now the T18, my fellow comrade on my team, only at 4 hit points. Me deciding that the fire has died down enough, falling back into my secret little position with my camo net behind the bushes. Not really too concerned about the small rounds getting through my frontal armor too easy, especially at this distance. Me thinking there might be an enemy vehicle right there based on where the direction of the hit indicators were coming from. And taking a random shot, it looked like it went very, very high. So, kind of just taking my best guesses at where the enemy team is. A wall tractor, certainly not concerning for me as a T18. And I'm just going to kind of sit and wait it out as he hopefully continues to drive forward. Looks like he's going to be doing just that. However, this tier 2 tank destroyer, my British equivalent, certainly a higher priority, leading the target as best as I could, but again, gun inaccuracy causing me to miss. Hoping to hit him right here, not so fortunate, down to only 17 hit points left. I'm not quite sure. I've just got to, put that one up to either the enemy T18 or the enemy British vehicles. Like I said, they do have pretty high penetration. Taking a hopeful shot at that, UC whatever it is, the tier 2 British tank destroyer, but again, missing. Now the T18, as we've seen, certainly not a sniper vehicle. Its accuracy just isn't quite there. And this Panzer II getting surrounded, I'm in no position to help him, and as you can hear, there are still shells crashing down around me. Not really concerning for me at this point, and I see clearly now that, no, not that the rain is gone, but that our base is in need of very much of and a strong defense. And really, I'm the only one left on my team. The enemy team up by 4 vehicles, certainly not something I am feeling comfortable about. Honestly, at this point, I thought this match was lost. And it might be. You never know. I haven't really told you whether or not I win, but I have guaranteed it is something I'm commentating, so at least it's going to be a good match. Getting kill number 5, happy with that very much. And Cruiser 3 saying submarine. I'm not really sure what he's talking about there. Although this T2 medium tank, probably to blame for some of my damage, tracking him and hopefully keeping him there long enough for me to lob another shell and kill him. Although surviving and the T18 working with me to get that kill. So the enemy team now only 2 vehicles ahead. Still enough to cause problems, especially considering our team very much beat up. Pretty much 1% health all around. Well, not quite, granted the low hit points, but we are all one-shots. T18 eliminating a T18, our T18 to be exact. And he's saying, yeah, cursing a little at that fact. The enemy team capturing our base. The BT2 not really in a position to do anything about it. And pretty soon here, it's probably going to be just me, myself, and I left to save our team. Yep, so I'm the last remaining person on this team. And I am our only hope at any sort of victory. The enemy team clearly on our capture point with, I'd say, at least 2 vehicles at the rate it's being captured. And recognizing the fact I have to do something, just like the BT2 realized he had to do something. Driving forward right here, kind of prioritizing the enemy vehicles on our cap. Falling back, however, to the point where I don't have to be concerned about that T18. Going to get a shot off on this lull tractor, resetting him as shells continue to rain down around me. Things not looking good for me or my team, but 1 vehicle eliminated, closing the gap ever further. Only 3 enemy vehicles remaining against me, my awesome T18. Going to do my best to hit this Panzer I, resetting the cap yet again. And just taking all these shots as best as I can. Now the enemy team only 2 vehicles ahead. And really, my biggest concern is my counterpart, that enemy T18. And if you have not noticed, I am out of HE shells now. All I have are heat rounds. So that's trouble for the enemy team, especially my fellow counterpart. And definitely not boding well for them. However, I am still one-shottable. All it takes is 1 round to get through my armor. And the enemy team still on the capture point. Despite all this. Now, if they perhaps would have rushed me as one force, I could have they could have killed me at this point. But here I am trying to just pin where this enemy vehicle is, trying my best to figure it out. And down to only 8 shots left, I'm saying, you know what, he's not really getting through my armor. And I'm gonna, there he is. Wow, it's vastly off target from where I was aiming. And doing my best to kind of kill him before moving on to the T18, even though the T18 is getting really close to that 100% cap. Going to take another shot and miss. Only 6 rounds remaining. This enemy team might just win this if I cannot kill them in time. 84 up 81, and it's certainly the enemy team kind of cursing aloud at the fact that they are unable to just kill me. Now I have to do something here. I wait for him to take a shot, still exposing barely any part of my tank, and going to hit and reset him as he just manages to hit the building I am using for cover, taking one more shot, getting 9 kills, and a Delaying Blades medal for killing 4 enemy vehicles as they are trying to cap. The enemy team saying, good game. And my team saying, kill him. Yes, thank you for stating the obvious, as if I did not already know. You know, if you're going to offer some in-game advice, please make it useful. But, digressing a bit. So I did get Steel Wall, cool-headed. I don't believe I got Spartan, because I'm pretty sure I wasn't at under 10% health. For that, I would have needed to be at 12 hit points, and I was at 17. And getting, like I said, Delaying Blades Top Gun, as we saw. Radley Walters is only awarded to tanks of a certain tier or higher, so no Radley Walters for me. But Delaying Blades medal, killing 4 or more enemy vehicles on your capture point as they are capturing. They do not have to be there at the same time, however, but in this case, they were all there around the same time. So killing, as you can see, those 4 enemy vehicles. Doing very, very well for myself. Like I said, this is one of the reasons I like to play lower tiers. Some people call it seal clubbing, and it's a little unfair. It is like clubbing baby seals. But you know what? It's nice to go into a match and know that even if your team fails miserably, you can still win. You know, so if I've had a frustrating round set of tier 10 battles, I will probably go on my T127 or T18. And if you find yourself getting frustrated with World of Tanks, I kind of recommend this. I mean, it's maybe a horrible thing to say, but you know, it's a good stress reliever. What is up, viewers and subscribers? Spang here, bringing you a World of Tanks gameplay commentary. This time it is in my Black Prince, and this was from my clanless days, where I belonged to no organization. I just freelanced it for a little while. I don't really bring you guys that many games in my Black Prince, even though I would say it's a pretty decent tier 7 tank. It has its ups and downs, and certainly there are tier 7 tanks I prefer more, but getting on to the match itself, teams looking fairly even except for the fact the enemy team does have one more tier 8, and given that there's so many tier 7s, which in my opinion there is a significant gap. Well, I shouldn't say too significant, but there is a noticeable gap between tier 7 and tier 8. So, especially considering how many scout tanks there are per team. So, it's going to make a difference of sorts, and really considering that there are a decent number of tier 6s as well. Tier 6 really cannot do much of anything to tier 8. I mean, yes, there are some exceptions. The KV-1S does decently well against it. But you know what I mean. There is a strong difference between tier 8 and tier 6. That is a major jump. So with really kind of at a disadvantage here, I'm going to do my best. I see my team needs support in the south, so I move to just help out the best I can. Being a tier 7 and a tier 8 match, I do feel like I can make some sort of difference. Now, like I was saying, one of the downs that I mentioned earlier of the Black Prince is the fact it has low gun penetration, 171 average pen. Fighting against tier 8s, that really doesn't bode well. I mean, you're going to have trouble getting through a Type 59 with that penetration. So, really not something that I would say I like about the Black Prince. Now, it somewhat makes up for it with a high rate of fire, but again, it also has low damage. It's definitely a brawler sort of tank. Its armor is actually pretty damn decent. You will see it bouncing quite a bit of shells. And this match was certainly interesting. I point out no Artie in case anyone failed to notice. Honestly, if I probably typed that this late in the match, it's probably because I just noticed myself, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. Now, the south looking like it's going to be in a bit of trouble here due to the amount of tanks we see in the middle and the tanks we saw pushing across. That Type 59, north actually having a decent push as well, so the enemy team looking like they have a good solid spread across most of the map. Our team, however, does have a good enough force concentrated in the north where I'm not really concerned about any sort of push coming from that direction. This Type 59 doing his best. Now, here's what I'm talking about right here. You see me bouncing these shells kind of left and right here as these enemy tanks try to knock me down on health. All they're doing, though, is hitting my tracks for no damage, which with 8.6, it seems like that might be changing. You know, they're making tracks function as spaced armor now. So if your penetration's good enough, chances are that you're going to hit tracks for damage. So possibly no more of those no damage shots in the tracks, and more frequently, you know, getting... the way I see that being really bad for certain players are especially the mouse drivers. Now here, my team, the South, certainly struggling. 2 Type 59s causing all sorts of trouble for this Tiger 2, who, if he was playing a bit probably more intelligently, now I'm sure he's doing his best, but probably would be doing a bit better against these 59s. However, this IS-3 and Tiger 2 certainly looking like they are in a position to kill those 59s who are just dedicated. You see that IS-3 getting the hell beat out of him. Just his armor getting dented and penetrated left and right. IS-3 almost dead as this low, not a Tiger 2, and Type 59 do their best to eliminate him. Now, I'm bouncing another shell right there. Going to do my best to almost not shoot my IS-3. I was very close to causing friendly fire. Angling my armor the best I can. The low does have a good significant amount of penetration. Lighting that KV-1S on fire. Very fortunate for me. I love it anytime I can watch him burn. And this low actually managing to get under his armor there and hit him in his soft underbelly. You know, 171 penetration is certainly enough. People say the low has paper armor, and it actually is pretty damn soft, but it does have like a 240 penetration gun or something like that, so it hits harder than most tier 8s. Here I'm kind of driving out, recognizing I'm probably going to get hurt here. Knowing he's going to have a longer reload than me, I know I can get off at least one more shot. It looks like I will attempt another one while he's backing up, but here I say, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to fall back a bit as our Tiger 2 pulls up, managing to hit him one more time, trying to keep my armor at a very extreme angle. My team doing well enough for themselves in the north, managing to push across the bridge as we see on the minimap there. And the enemy team crumbling slightly as we take a 2-tank lead. So looking very good for my team. That 1 tier 8 advantage certainly not panning out for them. However, random tank appears behind us and probably going to kill my IS-3 ally here very shortly. The low getting killed by the IS-3, and here we have a Type 59 about to kill my ally. Not very happy about that at all, but the north has crumbled and my team is pushing towards their base. All that remains, it looks like, is that 1 medium tank. A tank destroyer also managing to get across the bridge. I'm sorry, he probably did not get across the bridge. He probably came right up the middle and is trying his best to get flanks. We're still 6 tanks ahead. Not really concerned about my team's chances of victory. I am, however, concerned about my survival. This Type 59 tier 8 vehicle, possibly able to kill me, but with how low his health is, the fact is he is tracked with his side armor exposed, and that my armor is so good, it pretty much means his certain doom. So there we go, got kill number 2 for me. The first kill, I don't recall what it was. Oh yes, the KV-1S. The IS-3 very happy I avenged his death. My team pushing very strongly towards their base, and here I'm kind of driving myself through the bottom of the field, thinking, you know, I'm just going to cruise it and kind of enjoy myself. But I do believe very shortly here I will be turning around to try and engage. Nope, he's going to come after me. A Hellcat, not a very large concern. There is definitely a big enough difference between tier 6 and tier 7. At least this tier 7 and that tier 6. For me to not be concerned at all. The Hellcat trying to use his speed to his advantage. Not really going to work out for him though, because my armor is going to just constantly face his front. I'm going to keep shooting him right here and just, you know, consistently bounce these shells. He even misses right there, not even having a chance of possibly penetrating my armor, and the Hellcat will meet his certain doom right here. 3 kills for me, where this is a tank graveyard in the south. Definitely a hectic battlefield, and my armor coming into full effect. We capture 14-7. Very happy with that final score. And that's, this T-29 is God knows where, but I would have liked to duke it out with him. Now, this match, very exciting for me. The fact that we had enemy tanks coming at us from both sides, and the fact I was fighting tiers that were, you know, the Type 59s and the low, just made it a very good match for me. And I actually managed to get Mastery Badge Ace Tanker out of this. And I will actually just be bringing up that post-game screenshot here right now. So here's that post-game screenshot I promised you guys. Now, to avoid further confusion, this is future Spang. This is the Spang that was talking to you at the beginning of this video. I don't pre-record my post-game screenshots if I bring them up. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed those old replays. Like I said, you can see right here, got quite a bit of experience and credits. Got myself a sniper and a Mastery Badge Ace tanker, doing quite a bit of damage to tanks that really, honestly, should have just wrecked me to pieces, but that clearly didn't happen. Doing rather well for myself as a tier 7 in a match where tier 7s were underpowered, especially the Black Prince. It's really not cut out for those higher tier matches with its lower paying gun, but what can you do? Anyway, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, click that like button if you want to see more. Subscribe, and if you got a replay, there are instructions on how to submit those in the description. Thank you for watching. This has been Spang, and I am signing off.
Yeah!